The oceans are some of the least explored places on Earth, and researchers are constantly discovering new species and phenomena that go beyond anything they ever imagined. It's a world full of surprises that we still don't completely understand. With that in mind, here are the 15 most mysterious ocean creatures in the world. Number 15. Diamond squid egg mass. Ocean divers are used to seeing strange objects floating in the water, but there's one thing that never fails to astonish those who encounter them. It can look like a translucent, glowing tube or ball. At first, they seem unbelievable, and it's not clear whether they're creatures or something else. But the truth behind them is possibly even more amazing because they are large masses of squid eggs. No one knows how squid create these structures, but they're made from mucus and can be as much as 40 or 50 feet across, with plenty of room inside for tens of thousands of eggs. The species of squid determines the shape that their egg sac takes, and possibly the most spectacular are those that are made by the diamondback squid. They look almost like colorful, undulating slinkies and are estimated to contain just under 5,000 eggs. The membrane is thought to give the squidlings an extra level of defense while they're developing. But these structures are rarely ever seen by people. They are formed quite deep in the water and continue to sink lower until they reach a depth of around 500 feet. When the baby squid hatch, who knows how many of these there could be floating around the ocean at any one time. Number 14. Sea angel. Sea angels are a large group of carnivorous sea slugs that live in the depths of the oceans across the world. They are gelatinous and almost completely transparent, and the largest of them are no more than 2 inches long. They have wing-like structures that flap back and forth to allow them to move through the water at a speed of up to 0.22 miles per hour. While this may sound slow, it's far more than fast enough to catch up with their prey of other types of slugs and sea butterflies. Unusually, sea angels are hermaphrodites and fertilize themselves internally. This means they have no need to find a mate, and when ready, a mass of gelatinous eggs is released into the current and floats freely until the newborns are ready to emerge. While the various species of sea angel are found in virtually all places around the world, including underneath the ice caps, population densities in some places have been measured at up to 300 individuals per cubic meter of water. They're increasingly believed to be a vital component to aquatic ecosystems, and efforts are underway to understand whether they're suffering from habitat changes like many other organisms are. Number 13. Christmas tree worm. These incredible-looking creatures are Christmas tree worms, and they are found in tropical waters across the world, ranging from the Caribbean to the Indo-Pacific. They have 2 multicolored spiral structures on their bodies, which can be virtually any color you can think of, and have developed to aid with respiration and for filtering the water for nutrients. These crowns aren't just for aesthetics, though, and are actually a collection of tentacles that catch small organisms and push them towards their mouths. Their bodies are up to 1.5 inches long and are covered in bristles that help them move across the seabed and reefs. They're most often seen hiding on coral and can form a calcium shell around themselves that acts as a protective home for them. When they're hiding in these tubes, they can seal the entrance with sharp spines, which adds a further defensive measure to prevent predators from getting to them. It's also thought that the worms have a symbiotic relationship with some species of corals, but this isn't yet fully understood and is currently a focal point of research. Number 12. Cosmic jellyfish. In 2017, footage was released that had been captured by a remotely operated underwater vehicle, and it showed something unbelievable. The ROV had been exploring a region in the Pacific Ocean near American Samoa at a depth of around 9,800 feet, and in view came a species of jellyfish that had never been seen before. It almost looked like a UFO flying through the darkness, and you can clearly see the 2 sets of tentacles that are optimally arranged to catch small particles of food. It's likely they eat plant matter that's fallen down from the surface and small plankton-like creatures in a region of the ocean that rarely has enough nutrients to support larger species. There's a possibility that this is very closely related to another type of jellyfish called the Bathychorus, but researchers point to the location of the gonads on this new specimen and how they're positioned very differently. This means they know it's a distinctly separate species in its own right, and it's hoped that future expeditions will find more and potentially even catch one to bring it back for study. Number 11. Ghost shark. Ghost sharks are a species that have been around on Earth for hundreds of millions of years, and while they're distantly related to sharks, they technically don't fall under that classification anymore and are instead regarded to be cartilaginous fish. They live in extremely deep waters around the world and have only been seen at depths beneath 8,500 feet. They can grow to up to 5 feet in length, and there are more than 50 different species. A few are found in shallower places and are even displayed at aquariums, but the vast majority have rarely been seen by humans, and their lives are a complete mystery. They have no scales, and most have a venomous spine that they can use for defense. They use electroreception to track down their prey in the dark environment, and will hunt virtually anything that's small enough for them to wrap their mouths around. They don't, however, have very sharp teeth and instead have 3 grinding plates that they use to crush what they catch into a paste that they can then swallow and digest. Now it's time for today's topic. In a jaw-dropping discovery off the coast of South America, a team of divers has captured footage of what is believed to be the largest great white shark ever recorded. The encounter took place near the Galápagos Islands, where the team was conducting a routine marine survey. As they descended into the crystal-clear waters, they noticed a massive shadow moving toward them. What emerged from the depths left them in awe: a colossal great white shark, estimated to be over 25 feet long and weighing more than 5,000 pounds. Its sheer size dwarfed the divers, and its scarred body told a story of survival in the harsh ocean environment. The shark circled the team slowly, its black eyes locking onto them, exuding a calm yet intimidating presence. The divers managed to capture the encounter on high-definition cameras, providing clear evidence of the shark's unprecedented size. Marine biologists reviewing the footage are stunned, as this specimen far exceeds the size of any previously documented great white. Some speculate that the nutrient-rich waters of the region may have allowed the shark to grow to such extraordinary proportions. The discovery has reignited fascination with these apex predators, proving that the ocean still holds secrets beyond our imagination. Number 10. Gulper eel. The gulper eel is a very strange species of fish, also known as the pelican eel, that lives in tropical oceans at depths around 1,600 to 10,000 feet. They have huge mouths that are much larger than the rest of their bodies, and their jaws are loosely hinged, which means that they can swallow other fish that are many times their own size. They are usually black or olive in color, and despite their name, they aren't actually true eels. One of their most fascinating features is their bioluminescent tail, which is thought to be used to attract prey in the pitch-black depths of the ocean. The tip of their tail glows with a pink or red light, and they can wiggle it to mimic the movements of small creatures, luring unsuspecting prey closer. Their enormous mouths are not just for swallowing large prey but also for scooping up large amounts of water, which may help them capture smaller organisms like plankton. Scientists believe that gulper eels have a slow metabolism, allowing them to survive in an environment where food is scarce. Their stomachs are highly elastic, enabling them to store large meals and digest them over time. Despite their bizarre appearance, they are not aggressive hunters and rely on their unique adaptations to survive in the deep sea. Observations of gulper eels in their natural habitat have revealed that they are solitary creatures, rarely interacting with others of their kind. Very little is known about them, though, because they live at such depths, and only a few specimens have ever been caught. Even then, they're difficult to study because, by the time they have been brought to the surface, their bodies are extremely fragile once they aren't subjected to the extreme pressures. They are thought to use their long tails in a whipping fashion to swim through water, and will likely try and eat virtually everything they encounter in the darkness, because they can never be sure where their next source of food will come from. Gulper eels are another example of weird creatures that live beneath the areas of the ocean that are easily accessible to us, and you have to wonder what else there is that we're yet to discover. Number 9. Wolffish. Atlantic wolffish are an extremely unusual-looking species that are found in the depths of the Atlantic Ocean. Their habitat is so cold that they actually produce their own antifreeze-like substance inside their bodies to prevent them from freezing, and that enables them to be faster moving and thinking than anything else. The largest one ever found was 5 feet long and weighed 40 pounds. They come in a range of colors, from purples and browns to blues and greens, and spend their lives moving very little, instead making homes in rock and emerging to hunt for food. Their unique antifreeze proteins not only help them survive in icy waters but also allow them to thrive in areas where other fish cannot, giving them a competitive edge. Atlantic wolffish are known for their strong territorial instincts, often defending their rocky homes from intruders with their powerful jaws. Their teeth are constantly growing and are replaced throughout their lives, ensuring they can always crush the hard shells of their prey. Despite their fearsome appearance, they are not aggressive toward humans and are more likely to retreat than attack if disturbed. These fish are also known for their unusual reproductive behavior, as males guard the eggs after the female lays them, ensuring their safety until they hatch. Scientists have noted that their presence in an ecosystem is a sign of a healthy marine environment, as they play a crucial role in maintaining balance on the seafloor. Conservation efforts are underway to protect their habitats and reduce overfishing, but progress has been slow due to a lack of awareness about their ecological importance. They have even been the subject of research into their antifreeze proteins, which could have potential applications in medicine and food preservation. They have powerful jaws and sharp teeth, so they can break through the shells of mollusks and crustaceans, and it also means you definitely don't want to get your hand caught in the way. Unfortunately, their numbers are rapidly falling thanks to overfishing and habitat decline, and they're currently classified as being a species of concern. They are seen as an important litmus test to the health of the seabeds and are an effective means to control for green crab and sea urchin populations, but without many around, these invasive species are breeding like never before. Number 8. Halitrephes massey jellyfish. The Halitrephes massey jellyfish is an amazing jellyfish species that can be found in most of the oceans of the world, including the Atlantic, Indo-Pacific, Mediterranean, and the Arctic. They are usually seen at depths between 4,000 and 5,000 feet, where there is no light at all, but when illuminated by the lights on deep-sea submersibles, they emit a range of color that's being described as being like an underwater fireworks display. The red canals within the translucent bell show their internal structure, but usually, these creatures would swim through the water in absolute darkness. Their unique bioluminescent display is thought to serve multiple purposes, such as confusing predators or attracting prey in the pitch-black depths. The jellyfish's bell is highly flexible, allowing it to pulse rhythmically and propel itself through the water with minimal effort. Its tentacles are lined with specialized cells called cnidocytes, which release venom to immobilize prey upon contact. Scientists believe that the Halitrephes massey may also use its tentacles to sense vibrations in the water, helping it detect nearby movement. Despite its delicate appearance, this jellyfish is well adapted to the extreme pressures and cold temperatures of the deep sea. Observations suggest that it drifts with ocean currents, conserving energy while waiting for food to come within reach of its tentacles. The jellyfish's ability to thrive in such an inhospitable environment highlights the incredible diversity of life in the deep ocean. Studying creatures like the Halitrephes massey could provide valuable insights into how life has evolved to survive in one of the most extreme habitats on Earth. Their tentacles hang below them and are able to trap small fish and plankton before moving the food up towards the base of the bell, where they are eaten. Very few specimens have ever been found to study them, so it's not yet clear if they can track and chase prey or whether it's simply opportunistic, and we don't know how potent any venom that's in their stingers might be. This is likely just an example of the amazing jellies that live at these depths, and there will be countless more still waiting to be discovered. Number 7. Dumbo octopus. Dumbo octopuses, whose scientific name is Grimpeteuthis, are thought to live all around the world in the cold, dark depths of the ocean. There are 13 different known species, all of which have been found between 3,000 and 10,000 feet beneath the surface, and all have unusual fins that extend from above each eye that look like the giant ears of the famous Disney elephant. Specimens have been found as far apart as Oregon, New Zealand, and the Philippines, and are one of the deepest living octopuses that we know of. They prey mainly on worms and crustaceans and are unusual in that they don't have an ink sac. Instead, they are able to change their color with chromatophore cells that are across their bodies, which helps them to avoid their natural predators like sharks. Their gelatinous bodies are perfectly adapted to the high-pressure environment of the deep sea, allowing them to withstand conditions that would crush most other creatures. Unlike many other octopuses, Dumbo octopuses don't have a defined breeding season. Females carry eggs at different stages of development and can lay them when conditions are favorable. The eggs are encased in a protective layer and attached to rocks or other hard surfaces on the ocean floor, ensuring their safety until they hatch. Dumbo octopuses are also known for their unique way of moving, as they can combine jet propulsion, fin movements, and even crawling along the seabed to navigate their environment. Their slow, deliberate movements help them conserve energy in a habitat where food can be scarce. Despite their delicate appearance, they are efficient predators, using their webbed arms to trap prey and guide it toward their beak-like mouths. Researchers are still learning about their behavior, as sightings are rare due to the extreme depths at which they live. You might think that their ear fins are how they swim through the water, but they actually are only used for stabilization, and they propel themselves by squeezing water through their bodies and expelling them at the back. They have special receptors, which look like white dots, that allow them to detect light sources that could potentially be prey, and slowly hover over the seabed and search for a meal before pouncing on it and eating it whole. Number 6. Sea nettles. Sea nettles are an unusual species of jellyfish, and there are two types. One that lives around the Atlantic Ocean of the US and the other that lives around the Pacific coast. They are quite common, and the Pacific variety is the largest, growing bells that can be more than 3 feet across. They are easily identifiable by their golden brown color with red highlights and the combination of 24 maroon tentacles surrounding their white oral arms that can stretch up to 15 feet behind them. These tentacles are how they catch their prey of small aquatic organisms and are essentially large nets that trail behind them. The tentacles are covered in specialized cells called nematocysts, which release venom to paralyze their prey upon contact. Once the prey is immobilized, the oral arms guide it toward the jellyfish's mouth, where it is digested. Sea nettles are opportunistic feeders, consuming a variety of small fish, plankton, and crustaceans, which makes them an important part of the marine food chain. Despite their delicate appearance, they are surprisingly resilient and can thrive in a wide range of water temperatures and salinity levels. Their ability to adapt to changing environments has allowed them to expand their range, and they are now found in areas where they were previously uncommon. In some regions, their populations have increased significantly, which has raised concerns about their impact on local ecosystems, particularly on fish populations. Sea nettles are also bioluminescent, meaning they can produce light, which is thought to help them attract prey or deter predators in the dark depths of the ocean. Luckily, their stings aren't too dangerous to humans, although they can be irritating. And because they're very easy to look after, they're often displayed in aquariums. In the wild, they usually float on the currents and take opportunities that come their way, but they are able to go against the flow too. They ingest water and squirt it out of the base of their bell, and this gives them enough propulsion to travel in whatever direction and to whatever depth they need. Number 5. Manta ray. The majestic manta ray can be found in the warm waters throughout the world, mainly in the Pacific, Atlantic, and Indian Oceans. The name manta is a Spanish word that means a mantle or a blanket, after the type of trap that used to be used to catch various species of fish. There are 2 known species, the giant manta ray, which can grow up to 23 feet across, and the smaller reef manta ray, which grows to up to 18 feet in width. They have triangular pectoral fins, mouths that face forward, and a set of horn-shaped fins, and of course long tails. They propel themselves through the water by flapping their pectoral fins in a similar way to how birds fly with wings, and have been seen to dive as deep as 1,300 feet in search of prey such as shrimp, krill, and small crabs. The heaviest manta ray ever found weighed in at 2,980 pounds, and the size of individuals is linked with the availability of food in the regions where they live. While the 2 species have slightly different coloration and dental structures, recent discoveries suggest that they may be far more varied than previously thought. One individual seen on the Great Barrier Reef was pink, for example, which is thought to be the result of a genetic mutation and makes you wonder what other types there could be. Before we go on, we have a cool challenge for y'all that will take 5 seconds to complete. Let's make a deal. Just leave a like on this video, smash that subscribe button, and hit the notification bell, and you will get 10 years of amazing luck and fortune. Try it. It actually works. Number 4. Leafy sea dragon. You might think this is just a piece of seaweed floating through the water, but it's actually a leafy sea dragon, a species of fish that's native to the waters around Australia. They are covered in protrusions that allow them to blend in with vegetation very effectively, and that's the only function that these appendages perform. They have a pectoral fin on the neck and a dorsal fin on their back that they use to swim through the water, but these are virtually transparent and impossible to see and only really allow them to make small course adjustments. Their slow, deliberate movements mimic the swaying of seaweed in the current, making them nearly invisible to predators. This incredible camouflage is their primary defense mechanism, as they lack the speed or agility to escape from threats. Leafy sea dragons are closely related to pipefish and seahorses, but unlike their relatives, they do not have a prehensile tail to anchor themselves to objects. Instead, they rely on their camouflage to remain undetected while drifting through kelp forests and seagrass meadows. They are poor swimmers, which makes them highly vulnerable to changes in their environment, such as strong currents or habitat destruction. Despite their delicate appearance, they are efficient feeders, using their long, tube-like snouts to suck up tiny prey like misted shrimp. Leafy sea dragons are also known for their unique courtship displays, where males and females perform an elaborate dance before the male takes on the responsibility of carrying the eggs. These displays are not only fascinating to observe, but also critical for their reproduction, as they help strengthen the bond between mating pairs. Because their camouflage relies on them looking and moving just like a piece of debris, they grow to be around 9 inches tall and feed on plankton and small crustaceans that pass by them in the water. They are fairly similar to seahorses, and just like them, male sea dragons are the ones responsible for taking care of their young. Other than when they're mating, they have fairly isolated lives. They will often stay in the same position for extended periods of time. Thanks to pollution, changing conditions on the reefs, and human hunting for use in medicine and as pets, there are concerns about the future of the species, and in most areas, they have now been given protected status. Number 3. Black swallower. This mean-looking fish is called the black swallower, and it's a deep-sea species that can be found around the world in tropical waters. They live at depths of between 2,000 and 9,000 feet and are actually one of the most common species in the whole of the Atlantic. They are smaller than you might think and rarely grow larger than 10 inches long. They don't have any scales and have compressed bodies, but the most unusual thing about them is the size of their mouths. They are able to open their jaws extremely wide, and even though they have teeth, they usually eat their prey whole. Their ability to consume such large prey is due to their highly elastic stomachs, which can expand to accommodate meals several times their own size. This adaptation allows them to take advantage of scarce food resources in the deep sea, where meals can be few and far between. However, this feeding strategy comes with risks, as swallowing prey that is too large can lead to fatal consequences. Scientists have found black swallowers with their stomachs ruptured from the pressure of their undigested meals, a grim reminder of the challenges of life in the deep ocean. Their dark coloration helps them remain camouflaged in the pitch-black depths, making it easier to ambush unsuspecting prey. Despite their fearsome appearance, black swallowers are not aggressive hunters. Instead, they rely on stealth and patience to capture their meals. Researchers are still studying their behavior and life cycle, as much about this mysterious fish remains unknown. They eat bony fish and can swallow those that are twice as long as themselves and up to 10 times their own mass. Their huge stomachs then get to work to digest the huge meal, but this doesn't always go to plan. Most of the specimens that have been found have been forced to the surface after eating a fish much bigger than themselves, which means that they weren't able to digest it before it started decomposing and releasing noxious gases. Number 2. Ocean sunfish. We often hear about the large ocean mammals like dolphins and whales, but did you know that one of the largest fish in the world is the ocean sunfish? These amazing creatures can grow up to 11 feet tall and can weigh an astounding 2,000 pounds, although some specimens have been found to far exceed this. They are native to tropical regions of the world's oceans and have a strangely flat body. Because of their size, they are extremely powerful, so they have very few natural predators and hunt most things they come into contact with. Despite their intimidating size, ocean sunfish are surprisingly gentle and spend much of their time basking near the surface of the water, soaking up the sun. This behavior is thought to help regulate their body temperature after diving into colder, deeper waters in search of food. Their unique shape, which resembles a giant floating disc, often confuses predators like sharks and orcas, making them less likely to attack. Sunfish are also known for their symbiotic relationship with seabirds and smaller fish, which help clean parasites off their skin as they float near the surface. They are capable of producing an astonishing number of eggs, up to 300 million in a single spawning event, making them one of the most prolific breeders in the ocean. However, their slow swimming speed and unusual body shape make them vulnerable to accidental entanglement in fishing nets, which has led to concerns about their conservation status. Researchers are still studying their migratory patterns, as these fish are known to travel vast distances across the ocean, often appearing in unexpected locations. They'll often eat jellies, small fish, crustaceans, and even large squid, and there are some studies that have suggested they're able to absorb deadly toxins from their meals to add an extra level of defense to their flesh. They are amazing fish to be within the water and are a popular companion for sports divers who like to swim alongside them. They are docile and friendly towards humans, but there have been a few reported incidents because of their tendency to jump out of the water onto boats when they're startled. Number 1. Frilled tooth shark. Frilled tooth sharks are a very little understood species, mainly due to the fact that not many specimens have been found because they live at depths of around 4,000 feet. They are thought to grow up to 7 feet long and are dark brown in color and almost look like an eel. Specimens have been found across the world in the Atlantic and the Pacific, but their full range is still not known. Because they live so deep, only a few have ever been seen alive, and as such, they pose no risk to humans at all. Their appearance is often described as prehistoric, with their gill slits extending around their throat, giving them the frilled look that inspired their name. Scientists believe that their slow metabolism, a common trait among deep-sea creatures, allows them to survive in the cold, low-oxygen environment of the ocean depths. Their large, lobe-like fins help them glide through the water with minimal effort, conserving energy as they search for prey. Frilled tooth sharks are also known for their unique reproductive strategy, as they give birth to live young after an unusually long gestation period, which can last up to 3.5 years. This slow reproductive cycle makes them particularly vulnerable to environmental changes and overfishing, even though they are rarely caught. Despite their fearsome teeth and hunting abilities, they are considered a vital part of the deep-sea ecosystem, helping to maintain balance by preying on smaller species. Researchers are eager to learn more about these elusive creatures, as studying them could provide valuable insights into the adaptations required for life in the deep ocean. That's not the case for other animals in the murky depths, though, as frilled tooth sharks are perfectly designed for hunting in this environment. Their elongated body shape is likely what helps them hunt so well, and they're believed to coil up and leap forward in a quick motion to capture their food in a similar way to how snakes strike. They mainly eat mollusks, fish, and other sharks and have flexible jaws that allow them to swallow prey whole. If this isn't possible, they have rows of needle-like teeth that can easily penetrate flesh and prevent their target from escaping while they eat it slowly. Which of these did you find the most surprising? Is there anything else you think should have been on the list? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to check out our other cool videos showing up on the screen right now. See you next time.